It's the fact that Conservative MPs can go on the biggest news channels in the country, make jokes about the fact that their core manifesto policy in the last election was a complete and utter lie, the consequences of which have left Northern Ireland without a government for over a year and been the focal point of actual terrorist attacks and get zero pushback from the supposed journalists.
Yeah, but because of Brexit, there has to be a border somewhere. Boris Johnson has said time and time again that there cannot be a border in the Irish Sea. So that would mean there'd have to be a border between Ireland and Northern Ireland, and that would be against the Good Friday Agreement. So where does that leave you?
So, Kay, obviously, I mean, it feels like we're stuck in a time warp, doesn't it? Because we're talking about the same things that we've been talking about for 4 or 5 years.
I thought Brexit was supposed to be done. That was the whole point of calling the election in the first place, which gave you your 80-seat majority. And Kay Burley doesn't even mention the fact that that proves that this entire administration is based on a lie. She even joked with him at the end.
We both know that you're the king of reality TV.
Now, he says they've been talking about the same things for 5 years, so let me paint the scene of 2018 for you. We're halfway through the 2-year negotiation period, and it's pretty clear that the biggest stumbling block is what to do over Northern Ireland. Theresa May's solution is a backstop that keeps the whole of the UK in the customs union and Northern Ireland in the single market. But Tories like Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak and Johnny Mercer all thought that left us too close to the EU.
And we cannot capitulate and just let the United Kingdom fall out on a deal that is not good enough.
Leading to Theresa May's Brexit deal suffering the worst parliamentary defeat in the history of the UK. And precisely that was the chaos of Brexit for those 3 years. Constant negotiations with the EU, constant arguments, mainly between Tories, as to what constitutes a real Brexit. Arguments across the country as to whether or not we should be even doing Brexit. And that was the chaos that the Tories promised to get done in their election. And here we are 3 years after Brexit with constant negotiations with the EU, constant arguments between Tories as to what constitutes a real Brexit, and arguments in the country as to whether or not we should be even doing Brexit. Does Brexit feel done to you? And let me give you some maths that should blow your mind. The Brexit chaos really started in the middle of 2016, and Boris Johnson won his election on a Get Brexit Done manifesto at the end of 2019. So on paper, the Brexit chaos lasted 3.5 years. But it's been over 3 years since that election, and as Johnny Mercer just confirmed, we're still having the same negotiations and debates over Northern Ireland and Brexit. Which means that in a couple of months' time, we'll have spent more time trying to sort out Brexit after Boris Johnson said he got it done than before. So the Tories won't have ended the Brexit chaos, they'll have more than doubled it. And the cost of that is the democracy and peace in Northern Ireland, as well as adding to the poverty of the whole of the UK. Meanwhile, the TV journalists that are supposed to be holding them to account for what they've done, instead of asking them, how can you sit there and joke about the fact that your election lie of getting Brexit done has destabilised the government of Northern Ireland, they ask hard-hitting questions like this.
Do you fancy following in Matt Hancock's footsteps?
Come on.